This is Tailgate Talk, presented by Tarpon Blue.
Let's take a ride. In this series, we're going to show you everything Texas and its surrounding southern states has to offer, right here from our very own tailgate.
We'll take you from life on the farm and the ranch to the big city lights. This is Tailgate Talk. Come along for the ride.
Hi everybody, welcome to Tailgate Talk. We are in Seguin, Texas with Brent Convey at CY Distillery. And Brent, before we get into all the nuts and bolts of everything you got going on here, how did you get into doing this?
Late night Facebook was what did it. A friend of mine up north who is involved with our operation down here with a lot of intellect and whatever else. But he had a cask on one of his things. I was like, man, he was my old boxing coach years and years ago. I said, Jeff, can I get one of those casks? And then he was calling me a couple days later and said, why don't you just make some whiskey with us? So here we are making bourbon every day.
So you just taught yourself how to do it?
Jeff had some input. I had grown up with my dad playing with beer and wine, and then moving on when I lived overseas. There's such a culture overseas where they can't get liquor. Guys are making it themselves. There were some good friends that, showed me what they had been doing for years and years, and the opportunity came. I never really foresaw myself as making liquor for a living ever.
Oh,
here we are.
Kind of a bootlegger.
Oh, it goes with the Hot Rod Tour coming up.
So obviously you've got a lot more than just the distillery here going on with your ranch and everything. Why don't you tell us a little bit about all that?
Well, yeah, it started out as a cattle operation. It started out living in Houston, working in corporate oil and gas.
Really?
And my wife was boarding 3-4 horses at a time, paying a mortgage to keep horses.
Right.
So we said, no, this isn't what we need to be doing. So we got our way out here. I got transferred out here with the company I was working with, and the rest is history. We started having cattle because I just wanted to have cattle and get your ag exemptions and get all that.
And you actually use some of your product to feed the cattle?
My cows eat a bourbon mash from cradle to grave, basically free. About 100 pounds of bourbon mash is fed to each animal a day in a slurry format.
Happy cows.
Yeah, and it's a byproduct, and we're using it to raise bourbon-fed beef.
Wow.
And any other distillery gives this stuff away, or some of them sell it, depending on how much in their contracts or whatever. But we're using it. We're on a working farm, and the hay crop, we get our corn for the mash from as close as it's a wheat field this year.
Right.
Last year it was a cornfield, and we have had that corn in our mashes. And we have corn from across town. It's all within Guadalupe County. We source as many ingredients as are, and this is corn country, so it works good.
Everything local.
Everything.
That's great. So what's your plans going forward here? I see you've got the setup, you've got a nice showroom up front. What are you working towards?
Well, we're trying. Our business model is the whole brand, obviously, the CY brand. That's my family cattle brand that goes back 4 or 5 generations.
Oh, wow.
My kids will be the 5th generation to hold the CY brand. And it was passed on from my dad to myself. And it's named after Convey, which is my last name.
Okay.
I'm pretty proud of that.
That's awesome.
And so going forward, I'd like to have CY products in every liquor store in Texas to start, and we'll go from there. We're in 80 plus liquor stores across Texas. There's a few big brands that we're with, and there's some that we're not. And I'd love to grow that business that way. We're not a bar. We're just a couple guys in our shed making liquor, and we do a pretty good job of it, actually. Travis, Durbin, and myself.
I've had it. I would agree with that.
Thank you. but yeah, it's a full circle. So to grow the brand, and people laughed at us when we first started into it,
Yeah.
going, well, some people in the liquor business even said, oh, you can't use a CY. Nobody wants that. They want Jack Daniels or Jim Beam and all this, but
Times are changing.
I think so.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that we got to see all this in kind of the beginning stages. So you're about to have a big event here, right?
Yeah, we're the very first stop on the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. And the Hot Rod Tour of Texas is 300 cars that it's sold out in, I think, under 10 days, 2 months ago. Every car that was registered to do the whole tour around Texas. It's 4 days of driving to different parts of Texas, from starting in Victoria and finishing in north of Dallas. It's a lot of old trucks and cars. And
So how many cars do you think are going to be here?
here, I don't know. You know, like, you can't tell ever. Depends on the weather, obviously.
Right.
But I bet we might have up to 400 vehicles here.
Wow.
Just because there's a whole bunch of people in town. From the guy that cut my hay, Marty Schwarzkopf, cut my hay. He's got an old Trans Am he wants to bring out, and you know, all these guys. There's a lot of guys with some cool
So
cars.
it's open to the public. Anybody can come out and see all
You
the
know.
cars. And
I just hope they come, enjoy the cars, leave with a bottle. That's all
awesome.
That's all I'm. You know, we're not charging anything for the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. You know, we're just hoping to get some exposure for the business and grow the brand.
Oh, that's great. Well, I know Tarpon Blue's going to be here, so we're looking
Awesome.
forward to it. So, Brent, what I'm thinking is that maybe we should go and take a testing a little bit and see what all kind of products you got here.
I know a guy.
Let's go check it out. All right. So, what are we looking at here?
Well, so just over a year and a half ago, almost a year ago to the day, we started selling in liquor stores. We've only been in stores for about a year's time. We started with Rig Vodka. I wish I could take
Rig of vodka?
Rig Vodka, and obviously the bottles are all shaped like a drilling rig.
Gotcha. Okay.
I wish I could take responsibility for that, but that's Jeff. That's Rig Hand in Canada. They've got that, and I've got the distributorship basically for the bottle. We make the products here locally. The bottle is, I think, pretty cool, and it's eye-catching. But,
All right.
So we've got our vodka that we started with over a year ago, and then we did this. That's the whiskey that we've got on the market right now. It's called Rockin' R.
And you've got several different flavors, right?
Well, I've got a couple different things here. On the flavors, not on the whiskey. I've played with some stuff. We make our own, we call CYA, which is our own little version, I guess, of cinnamon whiskey. We played with that with, you know, natural cinnamon and sugars. That was fun. We also have this one here. The girls at the Seguin Coffee Company did this one for me there. It's using their beans with our Rig Vodka. We made our own
Really?
version of, you know, a coffee liqueur.
Wow.
And that's pretty special. And then we'll have, using the pecans on the property as the inspiration and the flavor, in what we're going to call convies. The labels haven't been approved yet, but it's a butter bourbon pecan
Wow.
flavored cream.
Smells good.
So that's where we're at right now. We're making our own gin. I've got a few different botanicals here. Have you ever State Flower, Texas, right here?
Really?
Yeah. So this is the basis of gin without any of the other botanicals that are needed to be gin, but that is what
Smells
it,
sweet.
it's bluebonnet.
Wow.
So, and then, you know, some lavender, and we're getting that on the road. So we've got a lot. Like, sky's the limit on what you can make.
Yeah.
But
All right, Brent, before we try these out, you're located at Hoffman Road in Seguin. How else can people find you? Can you find you online, or can you tell us what stores to look for your stuff in? Or
yeah, we always appreciate people coming out here. We make a really good Bloody Mary. but you can catch it in any liquor store in town. And you can also catch us on Instagram, CY Distillery, as well as Facebook, CY Distillery, and we've got a website as well.
Well, that's awesome. We appreciate you coming out and letting us come out today, and we look forward to that event you're going to have in 2 weeks.
Yes.
All right.
A week and a half.
Week and a half.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time on Tailgate Talk.
Thanks for tuning in today, and thank you to our guests for sharing their story.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time on Tailgate Talk.
We'll tell you things you might not know. Just stay a while, we'll make you feel at